Hey guys, what's going on? This is DJ TLM. You're watching DJ TLM TV. It's Monday, time for a new Q&A video, and today I have a lot of mix related questions, so I'm going to turn this into a quick mixing tips video. Now the first question has to do with the video that I did recently called Don't Mix Everything. I made that video because you have a lot of DJs out there, especially beginning DJs, who think or feel that every track has to be mixed. So I made this video to make it a little bit easier, because if you try to mix everything, you're going to make it a lot harder on yourself, and you're going to make some transitions that really don't work that well. So I explained in the video what you can do, but for some people that might not really be clear. So the question I received is, when I say don't mix everything, if I mean that you play songs from beginning to end and then just start the next song. Well, no, that's definitely not what I mean, because if you would play that way, you're basically just the MP3 player playing song after song, and that would take all the momentum out of your set. So please don't do that. There might be 2 or 3 people in the crowd that would love to hear their favorite joint from beginning to end, but it's a very slow paced way of DJing, and you could just have an MP3 player play a playlist if that's the way you're going to DJ. So what I mean is, you still make your transitions at the right points, but you don't blend the 2 songs, so you don't mix them. So for instance, if I have track 1 playing, it's a vocal track, and it comes to the hook, first hook, second hook, whatever, that's a good time for a transition. So normally if I mix those tracks, I would start track number 2 when the hook in track number 1 begins, and I would make my blend. In this case, I'm not mixing, so I'll let that hook play. For instance, say it's an 8-bar hook, I'll let it play. When it comes to the end, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 1. That 1 count is where the new verse on that track begins, but that's where I start my next song. So 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 1. On the 1 count, your second track starts, and you either just start it, or I might scratch it in and start it, or spin that one back, do an echo, use an effect, let the MC say something, but I make sure that that next track starts on that 1 count. That way you keep the timing right, and it's a good way to transition without really shocking the crowd. Now, if you have no idea what I meant with that explanation, please check my mix tutorial series, check part 4 about timing, and check my how to count music tutorial, so you understand what I mean when I say beats, bars, phrases, and I count music. So I hope that answers your question, but don't play tracks from beginning to end and then start the next song. That's not what DJing is about. Now, the second question was started with a scenario, and I can relate to that scenario, and a lot of DJs that are just beginning and learning how to beat match by ear should be able to relate to this scenario. You have 1 track playing, and it's playing over the speakers. The second track is in your headphones, and you're checking out the track, and you're trying to beat match. You're trying to get the tempo the same, get those tracks synced so you can mix. Now, in the beginning, this takes you quite a long time, because either you're not hearing if the second track is playing too fast or too slow, or you're just not getting the pitch right fast enough, and that second track is playing and it only has a limited time before it gets to the end. And I've definitely been there in the beginning, and especially when you start playing in front of people, you might get a little bit nervous, and your beat matching doesn't go as smooth as it did at home, and it can take you long. And I think the question was what my opinion on that was and what you can do about it. Well, the simple answer is just practice more. You need to practice more. Beat matching is something you learn, and even though you might understand how to do it, and even if you can do it, but it takes you a lot of time, after practice you get better and you can do it faster. I can take a track, have it playing, and take the second track, and within 10-20 seconds I will have those beats matched. So I'll be ready to make my transition in time. Now the second scenario, same thing, also about not having enough time, but in this case, if I understand the explanation correct, track 1 is playing and he starts to do the beat matching when it's time to do the transition. So when it's time to start the mix, that's when he started to do the beat matching. Now, if you wait until you get to that point where you need to do your mix and that's when you start the beat match, then you're too late. If you have track 1 playing, as soon as you load track 2 into the deck or put the next piece of vinyl on the turntable, whatever type of equipment you use, as soon as you put it on, your first mission is to match those beats, because you want to make sure that the tempo is the same when it gets to that mixing part. Then you bring track 2 back to the beginning, back to that first beat where you're going to do your transition, and you start. But don't wait until you get to that point where you have to mix and then throw it in and start the beat match in your headphones, because a hook or the transition part will never be long enough for you to get that beat matched in time. So I hope that's clear, and I hope that is what you meant with the scenario. But I can remember that in the beginning it took me way longer, and especially when I got nervous, I've been in that situation where it took me the entire track to get the beats matched, and I could hear track 1 starting to fade because it was at the end. But you will get past that. Just practice. I think there was one more question in there. I have to take a quick peek. I don't remember. All these questions are in one email, and if you have more questions, just put them in one email. It's a lot easier than sending me all these separate emails. I don't want to make the video too long. Oh yeah, Virtual DJ. He's mixing with Virtual DJ, and he's mixing without hardware. And he also says that he knows that I won't like that. I don't know where you get that idea. I would not do that because I like hardware, but do you play how you want to play. But anyway, he wants to know if he can scratch with it, because he's seen a video on YouTube where someone's scratching with Virtual DJ without hardware, and if I can do a video about that. Well, I'm not going to do a video about that. It's just not my thing, but it is definitely possible. I've seen videos with people scratching and even doing simple backspins and beat juggles with Virtual DJ with just their keyboard and their mouse. So you need to have fast hands, and you need to make sure that you put all the shortcuts on your keyboard to get to the cue points, to move the fader up and down fast, back and forth, whatever. I'm not going to do a tutorial about that, but there are tutorials online. So go to Google, YouTube, and just type in Virtual DJ scratching keyboard mouse, and you find a bunch of videos. So I hope that helps you out. Now, the last question was about low pass filters, high pass filters, but I'm going to get to that in the next part of my mix tutorial series, or part 5 or part 6. It's coming soon. I'll be talking about EQ and effects for transitions, so stay tuned for that. That's all for now. I don't want to make the video too long, so I hope this answered your questions. And if you have a question for me, or an additional question that relates to this topic, DJTLMTV at DJTLM.com. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I'll be back with a new Q&A on Wednesday, and stay tuned for a couple of tutorials and tip videos. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace.